So the first car, I don't know if you know my content. So the first ever car I ever stole or learnt, I didn't actually steal it. So a guy by the name of Danny Smith, he was from Ballarat. I met him, actually we'll go out a little bit, right? So when I got to Australia, long story short, right, ended up homeless on the streets. And then as I was homeless on the streets, I ended up doing a bit of a, so back when I was growing up, right, the cool thing back then was sort of like jumping other kids for their shoes. And, you know, me growing up all gangster and all that, I thought it was gangster to go fucking jump kids for their shoes. Well, you know, me being me and all, you know, trying to be cool, fucking went and jumped actually, he was an older fella for his shoes. Long story short, I got charged for robbery, because that's a fucking robbery. Don't go doing this shit. And part of that process of getting caught, you know, going through into the police system as a 14-year-old and being homeless, you know, didn't have my family, my mum or dad around. I got sent to boys' homes, and then obviously as a what would you say, as a 14-year-old, as a juvenile, the children's court system in Melbourne are very lenient. So you don't just get in trouble and then they just go bang, lock you up. They fucking gate like I literally so I got locked up and I got bailed to a children, like a what would you call it, a youth hostel, and it's literally this house right here. So this house in they call this Aberfeldy. Oh, for fuck's sakes, that's weird. They're not letting me show it, maybe because of that house. Wow, that is weird. All right, so this house right here on the corner, I'll go back out. So this 88, it is too, 88 Vida Street in Aberfeldy is a youth hostel, and I got sent here as a 14-year-old, and I met a guy in here by the name of Daniel Smith, and Daniel Smith is from Ballarat. And then one weekend, you know, we got talking, and he mentioned, he goes, yeah, bro, I steal cars, this and that. And that's kind of how he got put in the space. And then he was like, you know what, bro, I'm going to Ballarat this weekend. Do you want to come to Ballarat, you know, for the weekend with us? And there was another guy there named, I can't actually remember his name, but somehow he got roped in on it with us. And then, long story short, we decided one Friday, we're going to go for a bit of a roam to Ballarat. But we're only 14 years old, and we don't have a car or a license, but Danny Smith knew how to steal Ford Falcons. And it just so happens that, actually it might have been right here somewhere, there would have been a yellow, right here there would have been a yellow XE Falcon. And old Danny Smith, he'd explained this to me. He's like, right, you know, and I was right there with him. He goes up, snaps the aerial off the Falcon. You know the little aerial's like a antenna for the radio, and you know how they go slide out. Well, the end bit is a solid bit of like wire. So you snap that end solid bit off, not the hollow bits, and then you make one end with a hook. So one end with a hook going that way, and then at the other end you just bend it again so you got a handle, and then you push that little bit through the gap of the doors, and then you can hook that hook over the door lock and rip the door lock up. Boom, entry sorted. You don't even need any tools, right? So you've literally taken the car aerial off the Falcon to get into the Falcon, and now all you need to do is pop the fucking bonnet. You go to the bonnet, pop the bonnet up, then you don't go and get the oil dipstick, which is at the front of the engine. You go to the back left of the engine, and there's another dipstick. Actually, a little prerequisite, you have to make sure the car is an automatic. If the car's a manual, you have to go do it to a whole nother car, because you need to get the transmission dipstick, not the oil dipstick, because the transmission one's flatter and a bit wider, and it's the one that actually fits in the ignition of the Falcons. Snap the fucking dipstick off, you know, about the length of maybe a little bit longer, because you want to bend the end of the dipstick so you got a bit of a handle. Bang, we used to put the fucking dipstick in the ignition, jiggle the steering lock and the fucking dipstick at the same time, and then before you know it, the steering lock would just give, bang, ignition lights would come on the old Falcon. And this worked for Fairlanes, Fairmonts, Falcons, all the way from XC to EA. So that was like 1970 fucking 1980 maybe, somewhere there. So all the 1980 Falcons all the way up to like 90, maybe 92 or 3, something like that, I can't be sure. All the way to EA. It wasn't until the EB Falcon came along and changed, but that didn't matter. This was just our entry level. So we've taken our